Hey Lions fans, today's news is crazy, especially after the coaching change. We've been revealing the truth about Petzing's signing and which players will dominate the job under his leadership. And that's not all. The Lions defensive lineman received an unexpected communication from the NFL. Get ready because this news is insane. Let's start by talking about what's true and what's not true about Drew Petzing's signing by the Detroit Lions. Alright, let's clear the air about this whole Drew Petzing situation because Lions Twitter has been doing backflips all week, and a lot of it is straight up nonsense. Detroit officially brought Petzing in as the new offensive coordinator, and somehow that simple move turned into a conspiracy thriller. So let's hit what's real and what's completely made up. First off, this idea that Brad Holmes and Sheila Ford Hamp overruled Dan Campbell in order to block Mike McDaniel. Come on, that rumor came from a wild reading of a Jeff Darlington tweet. Like, imagine squinting at a message so hard you invent an entire power struggle out of thin air. The truth is way less dramatic. Campbell liked McDaniel, sure, but he liked Petzing more, that's it. Holmes still signs off on hires like every GM in the league, but Campbell basically has full control over his staff. These guys have been in lockstep since day one. Nobody pulled rank, nobody forced anything. Campbell made the call. And the narrative that Petzing had no other interest around the league? That's another stretch. Right now, most teams aren't even touching coordinator interviews because they're busy trying to hire head coaches. Once those seats get filled, the OC carousel usually goes into full motion. We'll never know how many teams had Petzing on their radar because Detroit moved early, and that's the point. The Bears literally interviewed him for their head coaching job last year. You don't do that with someone who's invisible around the league. Then there's the question everyone keeps asking. Why didn't the Lions announce the interview? Simple answer, they didn't announce several interviews. Detroit had 9 total candidates, and only 6 were ever reported. The other 3, Petzing, David Shaw, and Tommy Rees, only stayed secret because nobody leaked it. Most of the time, these reports come from agents trying to get their guy's name buzzing. Sometimes they stay quiet. It happens every single offseason. This isn't some shady backroom deal, it's just how the business works. Another rumor that took off for absolutely no reason, Mike McDaniel turned down the Lions. No, he didn't. He never rejected Detroit. He never refused an offer because he never got one. The Lions reached out, talked to him, evaluated the fit, and moved on. That's literally the whole story. But the internet loves drama, so suddenly it became McDaniel said no thanks to Detroit. Completely false. And let's finish with the funniest one of all. Dan Campbell hired Petzing because he didn't want to give up play calling. That one is just comedy. Campbell has already made it clear Petzing will handle the play calling in 2026. Campbell is not trying to keep the joystick. He wants someone who can run the offense with a real identity, and Petzing checked that box for him. So here's the reality Lions fans need to hear. Petzing wasn't a panic hire, he wasn't a safe hire, and he wasn't a second option. Campbell saw a guy who fits the vision he wants for this team. A young mind, respected around the league, already trusted with top roles before. All the noise around it, pure off-season imagination. And if you think the hire alone was big, wait until you see which Lions players could explode in Petzing's system. This part might hype you up. Now let's talk about the fun part. The players who could absolutely take off with Drew Petzing calling the shots. Because if there's one thing this dude has shown everywhere he's been, it's that he knows how to squeeze every ounce of talent out of his weapons. And in Detroit, he's walking into a room loaded with firepower. Let's start with Jahmyr Gibbs, because this might be the biggest winner of all. Gibbs already feels like one play away from breaking the stadium open every time he touches the ball, but Petzing's history with running backs is ridiculous. In Minnesota, Dalvin Cook had some of his best years while Petzing was there. In Arizona, James Conner put together monster seasons, and the Cardinals' rushing attack topped 2,300 yards twice. And the crazy part, they averaged 5.29 yards per carry last year, a franchise record. Petzing loves using running backs in ways that make defenses miserable. He'll send them into the flat from weird angles, leak them through the A-gap, motion them across the formation. Anything to force mismatches. Imagine Gibbs with that kind of creativity behind him. Detroit already leaned into heavier sets and power looks last season, but with Petzing, you might see the run game become the engine again, opening up play action for Goff at a level this offense thrives on. Now let's move to Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mr. Automatic First Down. Petzing spent years coaching wide receivers in Minnesota, and during that stretch, he helped Stefon Diggs reach one of the best seasons of his career. He knows how to feature a WR1 and keep him fed. St. Brown is going to remain the centerpiece of this offense, no question about it. The only challenge, and it's a good one, is figuring out how to fit Jameson Williams and Isaac Tesla into the mix without taking away what makes St. Brown elite. But if the Lions run the ball efficiently and keep the chains moving, the passing volume will take care of itself. Petzing's whole approach is built on staying ahead of the sticks and forcing defenses to choose what they want to lose to. And then there's Sam Laporta, who might be in the perfect situation. Petzing ran 11 personnel more than half the time in Arizona, but he also mixed in 12 and 13 personnel at rates way higher than the league average. That means tight ends are constantly involved. Sometimes blocking, sometimes attacking seams, sometimes acting as the safety valve. Look at Trey McBride. He turned into a legit star under Petzing, putting up 111 catches and over 100 yards last season. Now, picture Laporta, already one of the best young tight ends in football, being used in that kind of system. That's not just exciting, that's dangerous. If Petzing's offense hits in Detroit the way it has elsewhere, Gibbs, St. Brown, and Laporta might be talking about career years sooner than we think. And while the offense is gearing up for fireworks, the defense brought its own headline, and it's a big one. One Lions superstar just put the entire league on notice. Alright, let's talk about Aidan Hutchinson, because this dude just walked into the award conversation like he owns the place. The NFL and the AP dropped their finalist lists, and Hutchinson didn't land on one, he landed on 2. He's officially nominated for Comeback Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. That's not normal company, that's superstar company, and honestly, he earned every bit of it. Think about where he was a year ago, like season cut short, nasty leg injury against the Cowboys, doubts everywhere about how long it would take for him to look like himself again. Those injuries don't just slow players down, they ruin careers, but Hutchinson came back like someone hit a reset button and upgraded all his stats. This season, he started all 17 games, logged over 1,000 snaps, and dropped 14.5 sacks, 54 tackles, and a ridiculous 100 total pressures. That's not good for a comeback year. That's good for any player in the league, period. The Lions lined him up everywhere. Edge, standing up, hand in the dirt, and no matter where he was blowing up plays. Detroit's team site put it perfectly. The guy was a stalwart on the defensive front. Playing 91% of the defensive snaps is insane for someone coming off injury. Most players rotate to stay fresh. Hutchinson rotates because the man refuses to leave the field. He also became just the second player ever, alongside TJ Watt, to record 37 sacks and 4 interceptions in his first 50 games. That is elite territory. And here's the crazy part. Since QB hits started being tracked in 2006, only 2 players have ever had more through 50 games. Hutchinson sits in 3rd place with 89. That's not just production, that's disruption. Quarterbacks feel him coming even when he's not there. Award winners get announced at NFL Honors on February 5th in San Francisco. Whether Hutchinson wins or not, the message is already loud. He's no longer just a promising young star, he's one of the most dominant defensive players in the entire league. Man, what a day for Lions fans. A new OC shaking things up, stars ready to break out, and Hutchinson chasing hardware. This team's ceiling keeps rising. But what do you think? Are the Lions truly leveling up? If you're riding with us, hit subscribe and stay locked in.